Picture this. You land in Minnesota. Cold air hits your face. Clean streets. Lakes everywhere. And people casually jogging like the weather isn't trying to end them. You hear one phrase nonstop. The Twin Cities. Sounds like one place, right? Wrong. You're actually choosing between Minneapolis and St. Paul, two cities sitting side by side, connected by bridges, but mentally living in completely different worlds. Same state, same winters. Very different personalities. Let's break it down. First impressions. Modern edge versus classic soul. Minneapolis feels modern immediately. Glass buildings, creative energy, bikes everywhere. People dressed like they work in tech, design, or a startup you've never heard of. It feels young, progressive, fast-moving. Minneapolis Energy says, "We're building the future." Now cross the river into St. Paul. Everything slows down. Historic buildings, cathedrals, old neighborhoods with character, less noise, less flexing. St. Paul Energy says, "We already know who we are." Minneapolis feels like innovation. St. Paul feels like tradition. City vibe, bold creativity versus quiet confidence. Minneapolis is expressive. Art, music, food scenes, nightlife. New ideas everywhere. People here love change. They push trends. They experiment. St. Paul is reserved. It's calm, comfortable, structured. People value stability, community, routine. Minneapolis wants to disrupt. St. Paul wants to preserve. Cost of living, trendy prices. Visa steady value. Let's talk money. Minneapolis is more expensive. Rent is higher. New buildings. Modern apartments. Prime locations near downtown, and lakes cost real money. You pay for the vibe. St. Paul is more affordable. More space. Lower rent. Older but charming homes. Better value for families and long-term living. Minneapolis costs more because it's in demand. St. Paul costs less because it doesn't chase hype. Jobs and amp careers. Corporate HQ vs. government roots. Minneapolis is the economic engine. Major corporate headquarters. Healthcare. Retail. Tech. Finance. Creative industries. If you want career growth, promotions, and high-paying roles, Minneapolis has the edge. St. Paul is more government-driven. State jobs. Education, healthcare, nonprofits. Careers here are stable, predictable, less flashy. Minneapolis rewards ambition. St. Paul rewards consistency. People, progressive thinkers versus grounded locals. Minneapolis people feel outspoken, creative, opinionated, open-minded, always discussing something. Politics, art, culture, ideas. St. Paul people feel grounded, friendly, practical, community-focused, less loud. They don't need attention. They value relationships. Minneapolis talks about change. St. Paul lives tradition. Lifestyle, active hustle versus comfortable rhythm. Minneapolis lifestyle is busy. Running clubs, yoga, side hustles, events every weekend. People stay moving, always doing something. St. Paul lifestyle is slower. Family dinners, neighborhood walks, local cafes, early nights. Not boring, just peaceful. Minneapolis lives loud. St. Paul lives deep. Public transport and amp, driving, equal pain, different style. Both cities are connected well. Buses, light rail, highways. Minneapolis traffic feels busier. More commuters, more congestion during rush hour. St. Paul traffic is calmer, less chaos, more predictable. Winter driving, same struggle, same snow, same icy stress. Minnesota doesn't play with winter. Food scene. Trendy bites vs. comfort classics. Minneapolis food scene is fire. New restaurants, fusion concepts, vegan spots, experimental menus. Foodies love Minneapolis. St. Paul keeps it classic. Comfort food. Family-owned restaurants, local favorites, traditional flavors. Minneapolis tries new flavors. St. Paul perfects old ones. Nightlife, energy versus early bedtimes. Minneapolis. Nightlife goes harder. Bars, clubs, live music, late nights. If you want movement after dark, this is your city. St. Paul. Nightlife is relaxed. Low-key bars, live jazz, small venues, more conversation than chaos. Minneapolis parties. St. Paul unwinds. Weather. Same cold, different attitude. Let's be real. Winters are brutal in both. Snow, ice, cold that hurts your soul. But Minneapolis leans into it. Winter festivals, outdoor skating, events despite the cold. St. Paul just survives it quietly. Same weather, different mindset, family life, flexibility versus foundation. Minneapolis works for young professionals, singles, couples, creative lifestyles, fast-paced, opportunity-driven. St. Paul is family-friendly. Schools, parks, safe neighborhoods, community feel. Minneapolis builds careers. St. Paul builds homes. Growth and amp, future, expansion versus preservation. Minneapolis keeps growing. New developments, new businesses, more people moving in. St. Paul grows slowly, intentionally, carefully, protecting its character. Minneapolis chases the future. St. Paul protects the past. Final verdict. Which twin wins? Choose Minneapolis if you want. Career growth, creative energy, modern lifestyle, active nightlife, fast-paced living. Choose St. Paul if you want. Affordability, stability, community feel, quiet confidence, long-term comfort. 2 cities, 1 metro, completely different lives. Now we want to hear from you. Minneapolis or St. Paul? Which twin city are you choosing and why? Drop your opinion in the comments. And if you're locked into these city versus city breakdowns, hit subscribe, tap like, and stay tuned, because the next matchup might be your city.